Whenever I tell someone I make wedding cakes, the first thing they say is, oh my gosh, it must be so hard delivering them. And it is, but it doesn't have to be. So today we are going to talk about that, and I'm going to share with you how to run a completely seamless wedding cake delivery. Hi, I'm Jenny, and I teach wedding cake makers how to be better business owners. And thank you for being here for my weekly wedding cake business tip. All right, so we're going to talk about deliveries, which can be completely nerve wracking, but it does not have to be. The first thing I want to tell you is make sure the cake is done the day before and chilled and solid, okay? So that's really, really important. You never want to be working on a wedding cake unless you're finishing some sugar flowers or some like little minor touches that you can't do the day before. Make sure the cake is all done beforehand because you never know what might come up on a delivery day. Like maybe you have a sick kid or maybe you have some sort of emergency that you have to take care of, okay? So just make sure that the cake's all done, and that will take a lot of stress away. You'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you don't have to finish anything or that you don't have a time crunch the day of a delivery. All right, that gets me into the next thing. Do not overextend yourself on a delivery day. Don't let people talk you into going out for margaritas the night before or going to brunch or like doing something that you don't want to do. Make sure that if you have a wedding, stay local. I mean, I have been caught on boats. I've been caught in road races where I had to have a police escort get me out because I had a delivery. Like anything can happen, you don't even know. So do not stay local on a delivery day. That will save you a lot of stress, okay? Leave yourself plenty of time. Make sure you get plenty of sleep the night before. On a delivery day, I like to get a little workout in or at least a walk in the morning or something, a little chill, just to kind of relieve a little bit of stress. I always leave myself plenty of time to recheck all my notes because you get anxious and you're like, oh my God, is today Saturday? Or am I supposed to put strawberry in that and not raspberry? Or just make sure that you check all your notes over again just to, triple check just in case. I mean, I check my notes all the way through anyway, but you know how our anxiety gets and you start having these nightmares and things like that. So make sure you leave yourself plenty of time for that. I do always check my emails on a delivery day in the morning just to make sure that if something comes up or if a time gets changed or something like that, I make sure that I know it. And I always keep my phone nearby, where I don't always do that during the week when I'm in the kitchen, but I always keep my phone nearby. Okay, so that is the morning of a delivery. And now we're getting ready to go on the delivery. So make sure that your car is clean. It doesn't have to be a beautiful, perfect car or anything like that, but just make sure it's clean because people might see it. You don't want to have I don't know what you would have in there, like a dog or anything. Like maybe you'd have a dog in there, but you don't want to have anything in your car that is going to look unsightly if you see people on a delivery. And then, as far as dressing for a delivery, this is really, really important. And this is one thing that a lot of people, it shocks me, don't think about. You are dressing for your brand, okay? You are representing your business. So make sure that you dress for that. So for me, I always wear a black t-shirt, or I usually wear a black t-shirt dress. I'll wear some cute sneakers and then some flats or something like that. And then I like to have pockets. So if I do have a dress that doesn't have pockets, I'll wear a jacket that has pockets so I can put my glasses, my keys, my phone, scissors, and then a couple paper towels, anything that I need. So then that way I don't have to make 8 million trips. So I put all those in my pocket. And then and please let me talk about the dress again. No jeans, no, don't look like you just came out of the kitchen. Don't wear a dirty apron. I mean, I've seen people do all sorts of things. Make sure you're presentable because again, you are representing your brand, and if you want to work quality weddings, you have to look the part. Okay, so then every cake goes into a clean box, and that box goes into my car. And then as far as timing, I don't go anywhere. Like I said, on delivery days, I stick around, I stay local because I have gotten in trouble before. I learned that lesson real fast. I was considering swimming from a boat back to shore so I could make a delivery. So make sure that you leave yourself plenty of time for everything. And again, with the boundary things, like I said before, don't let people talk you into doing stuff that you don't want to do. I mean, I know we're all people pleasers, but don't let people talk you into, oh, let's just come to this game for a little while, or just do this, or just don't do it. Just you're going to save yourself so much stress not doing it. Okay. All right. So then you go and you pick up the cake, load it into your car, and then timing wise, you want to time it so that you are not there early, but then you can't be late. So you're going to be looking at things like the weather. For me, I have to look at beach traffic. I have to look at Red Sox games and sports games. I look for parades in my town, look for any road closures or anything like that. It's your job to make sure that you know as much as you can anything that's going on in your area. Okay, so just check those things out. It's super easy to Google, and just make sure you can even ask chat. So just make sure that there's nothing that you have to be aware of. And again, I mean, I've driven in floods, I've driven in blizzards, I've driven in everything. So just make sure that you leave yourself plenty of time to allow for anything, because it's not anyone else's fault if we're late because you did not prepare for it. Okay. So then on delivery, I do not play any music in my car. I don't play anything in my car. All I do, I always turn on my GPS, because I get nervous sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, where am I? None of this looks familiar. And it's like, okay, I'm going in the right place. I'm going in the right place. I always bring my notes with me in case I want to check anything on the order. I double and triple check things all the time, because I mean, I get nervous on deliveries. It's been 30 years and I'm still nervous on deliveries. So I always bring my notes with me so that I can check them. And then if you do have a second person with you, it's great to have that person so that you can ask them questions like, wait, are we going in the right place? Like, did we put the cake in the car? Things like that. It's crazy what your mind does when you get nervous. So just make sure that that you have left on time. And then if you are running late, if there is an accident, in my state, there's an accident every 5 minutes now. So if there is an accident or something that delays you, call the venue, even if you're going to be 5 or 10 minutes late. And the reason why is because we're all running on timelines. Everyone's nervous. Everybody is anxious on a wedding day. It doesn't matter if they're not, I don't know, not doing it right. But everyone is anxious on a wedding day no matter what. So you don't want the coordinator to get nervous and put undue stress on them, having them think that you're late. So just, even if you're going to be a few minutes late, I always give a call and say like, hey, just giving you a heads up, there was an accident, I'm running just a few minutes behind, I just didn't want you to worry, I'm on my way. Because that's what they do. They're like, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock, the cake isn't here, and it's like 4:03 and they're nervous. But again, it's our job to relieve any stress. Okay. And then when you get to the venue, of course, you drive super, super carefully. This past delivery, I don't know, they were blowing up the roads or something on the way to where I was going. It was an hour away, and the roads were so bad. I was literally driving like a mile an hour on this route. It was so nerve-wracking, but I made it, or I was there early. Everything was set up and fine. But I just want to mention that about driving there. So then when you do get there, the first thing I do is find out where I'm going in. And then I don't even bring anything in first. I'll go in, I'll see where I'm going, and then figure out how I'm going to walk through. So you don't want to, obviously walk through front doors and stuff like that. Make sure that you find out the loading area from the venue, and they'll provide that with you. You don't just again walk through a front door. You don't you don't want to walk around the bridal party if they're hanging around or anything like that. You just want to be discreet. Okay. So in this case, I had to go around the building and then up some stairs. So I parked near the stairs. I went up. I went to see where I was going. I did see the coordinator. I was like, hey, I'm Jenny. I have the cake. I'll bring it up in a minute. Just wanted to say hi. Okay. And they're like, oh, okay, great. Blah, blah, blah. So then I set up the cake. I bring the cake up in the box, set it on the table, put it where it's going to go. I put it on the table, the display table where it's going to go. I don't leave it for anybody else to do. I also don't ask anyone to hold a door. I don't ask anyone to help me carry a cake. I don't ask anyone to do anything. It's our job to take care of all of that. If you need a second person with you, you bring a second person and you pay that person. And that's, part of your job. We are there to relieve stress of everyone that's working on that wedding. Okay. Everyone's got jobs to do. We are not the most important person there. Everyone plays a part. So it is our job to make sure that we get everything there safe and without bothering anybody else. We're all trying to, we're all in time crunches. We've all got stuff going on. And then One of the biggest things too that you want to do is, even though we are anxious the whole time on a delivery, most times, you don't want to show any of that stress, okay? So you don't want to complain about the weather. You don't want to say anything about being nervous. I mean, I've done deliveries in blizzards where I'm like, oh my God, white knuckling it there the whole entire time. And then I get there, and then all of that goes away. I got to pull it together. And then, I walked in the door, this blizzard, I was like, oh my God, everyone's going to be freaking out. And I walked in, everyone's like, hi. And, nobody shows that stress. That is not for us to do. We keep it together. We are professionals. All right. And those are the things that are going to get you on the vendor list too, is when you show up and you are a contributor, you're a team player, you're positive. You always have to have positive energy, no complaining. Those are the things that gets you on a vendor list too. So keep that in mind, okay? So then we set the cake up. If you're decorating with florals, find the floral designer. Don't bug them. Just say like, "Hi, I'm Jenny. I just brought in the cake. Whenever you're ready, I'll take those cake flowers for you, and I'll decorate them, and I'll place them on the cake." So like, "Oh my God, okay, here you go," and then you do that. Put all the florals on them. Make sure you take plenty of pictures, and then if you have backup cakes that are going to the kitchen, bring those to the kitchen, or ask the coordinator where you should put them. But you don't just like bring stuff in and leave it and leave. Okay, make sure that you communicate with people what you're doing. And then just make sure that you check in and say goodbye. So again, it's super busy. You can't always find a coordinator, but if you can, find the coordinator and just say like, "Hey, I'm all done with the cake. Do you have any questions or anything like that?" And they probably won't, but you might. And then sometimes when I'm working with a planner, especially if it's a planner that I know, you usually don't see the planner at the venue when we're setting up, because they're usually with the couple or the bride. But what I'll do is I'll just like take a picture and then send a picture. I'm like, "Hey, I'm all set. Here's the cake. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great night." Okay, so that is what I do on a delivery. One of the other things, I did not even know that I do this, but one of the other things that a planner pointed out to me, and also a colleague of mine pointed out to me, is that when I'm at a delivery, if I'm done, I'll go ahead and check with the planner or check with whoever's working there. Like say, "Hey, do you guys need any help with it? Do you guys need anything before I go?" Something like that. And if it's a friend, they might say like, "Oh my God, can you hand me those scissors?" or whatever. It might not. But it's just both of the people pointed out that they liked that I did that. So I didn't even know I was doing it. It just came naturally. So that's one thing that I did notice. And then you just make sure, like I said, make sure you take pictures, make sure you cleaned up everything. If you brought boxes, make sure you bring all your boxes back, make sure you didn't leave a mess, make sure the cake looks perfect, make sure you took pictures, make sure you say bye, make sure you have positive energy, and then you go and you get in your car and you haul ass home because you were probably so stressed out. So that is how I handle a seamless delivery. And yes, we always get nervous. It's just natural. I get nervous after 30 years. But if you prepare as much as you can beforehand, you'll alleviate all of that stress, and just leave yourself plenty of time. Don't let people take your time away from you. Leave time in case there's some sort of an emergency like that. Like I said, I literally don't leave my house on a delivery day. I do nothing. I stick around and I stay local just in case. Make sure you check for road closures or parades or anything like that. So that is what I want to talk about today. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have wonderful deliveries this season, and I will see you soon. Bye.